Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I will explain what is a variable. So a variable is a storage that is used to store data. Okay, we can explain this as variable is basically a name that is given to a space in the computer's memory for holding any kind of data. And variables, you can compare it with containers that we use for storing items. Okay. In Python, it is not needed, not required to declare a variable prior to its initialization. Okay. By initializing, I mean, like let's say we have a variable which is a and it holds the value 20 in it. We have another variable named b that holds the value 10 in it. So that's it. We just assign the values directly to the variable names. We don't have to declare it prior assigning the values. And now let's say we want to add these values and get the result. So if you have to sum these values and you want the result, so you need to declare another variable which would be holding the addition values for this two variables. So let's say we have a variable named result and it holds the sum of these two variables. So how are we going to write the Python code to perform this kind of operation? Let's see. So in Python, we just need to write the name of the variable. Let's say it is a in this case. So a is equals to 20 and b is equals to 10. And then we declare another variable which is result. And there we just use the operation, the addition operation a plus b. And finally, we just print the value that holds the sum. So we are printing result. Okay, so upon execution of this program, we would get the output as 30. In this way, we can store any kind of data in any variable. Let's say you have to hold or let's say you have to store your name, or let's say you have to store the age of some student, marks of students. So any kind of data that you are dealing with, you can store it using a variable. Fine. Just be careful with the variable names. There are certain rules that needs to be followed to name a variable. We will cover it up in another video. So let's perform these codes in our Python editor and see how it results. So let's start. This is a code window. I'm using Google Colab to write the codes. So like there I have written. So let's say here I am going to name a variable as num1. Please remember that variable names can be anything. You can write ABC, you can write XYZ to name your variables, or you can write something that is relatable to the value. Like I'm storing numbers, so I'm just writing num1, and maybe here I'll store 12. Then I'll use another variable which is num2, and maybe there I'll store 14. I missed the equal to sign. Okay, finally I'm going to add another variable which is result, and there I'm going to write num1 plus num2. So that's it. Here the plus operator, this is one addition operator. So this operator is going to add the values which is stored in these two variables, and it will finally store that summed result inside the variable named result. Okay, and finally I'm going to print it using the print function. So we always print or display our output in Python using this particular function which is print. So if I just run this code, then see what I get as the output. So see, here we get the sum as 26. Now let's say we want to store somebody's name and age, and we just want to display that this person's age is this. So how are we going to do that? So maybe I'll take a variable and its name. So like I said, it can be anything. Instead of writing name, I could have written A, B or C, but I have given some meaningful name. So maybe I'll write a name over here. So I'm writing Samriddhi, and now I'm going to store the age. So maybe age is 3. So that's it. And now I'm going to use the print function just to display the values that is stored inside the variable. Okay. So how am I going to do that? Name, comma, age. Okay, please be sure, like see here it's giving me an error that name is not defined, because see, while declaring the variable here I have used capital N. So there's one uppercase N used, but here it's not matching. So please be sure that the Python is a case sensitive language, which means capital and small letters are not same. So here I need to put capital N. Now this would be recognized. So if I just run this, see, Samriddhi 3, that's what I get as the output, right? Throughout your Python coding session, you are going to need these concepts. So please be sure about the variable names, because students lots of time I see my students making errors with the variable names like this one. And one more thing I would like to say here, that please don't use double words, like for example first name. If you want to put a variable name like this, first name, now that would definitely give one error. Why? See, both the place I'm using the same thing, still it's giving error. It is because you cannot use space separated words for variable names. That is, 2 words or 3 words cannot be used. Only single words are allowed. So you need to either join it using underscore like this. See, the error disappeared. So just if you have to use double words, like to make your variable name meaningful, make sure to use underscore in between, so that it is recognized by the Python interpreter as a single word. Okay, apart from that, another approach is followed. You can just join the letters like this, just make sure to capitalize the first alphabet of the 2 words. Then it is easier for your eyes to read it, because see, if this was in small case, so it becomes little bit difficult for the humans to read, like it looks like a single word, right? But if you just make it capital N and capital F, then it's easier for anybody to read. So that's it. Just keep coding and keep learning. In the next videos, we'll learn something new about Python data types, printing, taking input, all these things I'm going to explain. So stay tuned.